Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the New York City hearing on the Subcommittee on Zoning and Franchises. At this time, please silence all electronics and do not approach the dais. I repeat, please do not approach the dais. If you haven't signed up a slip yet and are testifying, you may do so at the back of the room. Make sure you fill out a slip. Chair, you may begin.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the meeting of the Subcommittee on Zoning and Franchises. I am Councilmember Kevin Riley, Chair of this subcommittee. I am joined remotely by Councilmember Moyer and in person by Councilmember Shulman, Salam, Carr, Abreu, Juan, and Narcisse. Today we are scheduled to hold 2 votes and 2 public hearings. Starting with the votes, the first one concerns a mixed-use residential development known as 2185 Cole Street in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn. The second vote concerns an application for another mixed-use residential development known as 438 Concord Avenue in the South Bronx. Today's hearing concerns one application to develop a mixed-use residential building in Whitestone, Queens. The other hearing concerns the demapping and conveyance of an area adjacent to a highway entrance in Long Island City. I will now go over the hearing procedures. This meeting is being held in hybrid format. Members of the public who wish to testify may testify in person or through Zoom. Members of the public wishing to testify remotely may register by visiting the New York City Council's website at www.council.nyc.gov/landuse to sign up, and for those of you here in person, please see one of the Sergeant-at-Arms to prepare and submit a speaker's card. Members of the public may also view a live stream broadcast of this meeting at the Council's website. When you are called to testify before the subcommittee, if you are joining us remotely, you will remain muted until recognized by myself to speak. When you are recognized, your microphone will be unmuted. We will limit public testimony to 2 minutes per witness. If you have additional testimony you would like the subcommittee to consider, or if you have written testimony you would like the subcommittee instead of appearing in person, please email it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. Written testimony may be submitted up to 3 days after the hearing is closed. Please indicate the LU number and or the project name in the subject line of your email. We request that the witnesses joining us remotely remain in the meeting until myself and council members may have questions. Lastly, for everyone attending today's meeting, this is a government proceeding and decorum must be observed at all times. Members of the public are asked not to speak during the meeting unless you are testifying. The witness table is reserved for people who are called to testify, and no video recording or photography is allowed from the witness table. Further, members of the public may not present audio or video recording as testimony, but may submit transcripts of such recording to the Sergeant-at-Arms for inclusion in the hearing record. Just want to state for the record, we've been joined by Councilmember Hanks. The first proposal we are voting on today is to approve with modification LUs 208 and 209 relating to the 2185 Cole Street rezoning proposal in Councilmember Narcisse District. The proposal seeks to develop a mixed-use residential building with a supermarket in Sheepshead Bay. The proposed development will have over 400 apartments, and between 20 to 25% will be permanently affordable. The proposal consists of 2 actions. The first is a zoning map amendment to change an existing R4 residential district to a set of a higher density contextual residential district, R6A, R7A, and R7X, with a C2-4 commercial overlay. The second action is a zoning text amendment to map a mandatory inclusionary housing area over the rezoned area. We are recommending modifications to reflect the actual height of the proposed building and to ensure the project matches recent rezoning along Cole Street and Avenue V. The modification will replace the requested R7A district with an R6A district along Cole Street and the requested R7X district with an R7D district along Avenue V. Under these revised districts, The proposal would still generate over 400 apartments and be able to contain a supermarket. The other modifications we are recommending is to remove option 2 and add the deep affordability option. This will make 20 to 25% of the proposed apartments permanently affordable. The deep affordability option will restrict the affordable apartments to families making up to 40% of the area median income, which is approximately $62,000 for a family of 4. I'm going to now give the floor to Councilmember Narcisse to give some remarks on this project.
Good morning. I want to start by saying thank you, Brian and the team, Paris, for helping me out to this process. When I came to, as a council member, I know sometimes you have to make tough and difficult decisions. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Thank you. I have carefully considered this proposal in consultation with our local stakeholders, which is most of the folks around Community 15. Community Board 15, we strongly believe that modifying the zoning district is necessary to ensure that the height permitted by zoning more closely aligns with the proposed development. While this modification results in a kind of split, very slight reduction in the overall square footage of the project, it still allows a 9-story development, feature a supermarket, and over 400 much-needed housing units in our community. We know we're in a housing crisis, and I have to say thank you. For you, Richard, you've been a gentleman, and thank you for going through the process. I know we come to a difficult time right now. There is a problem that we need to address because we want to make sure, like last hearing, I said, I trust you, but then again, when the community that elect me to represent them talk, I have to listen. So I just want to say thank you for even bringing the project to our district. This adjustment struck a balance between responsible developer and maintaining the character of our community. With this appropriate modification, my community and I support the proposal. Let me be clear. I support it with the modification, just because I want to strike that balance where they build trust between community and government. So I want to say thank you again for doing this project. We are in a housing crisis and we need that more than ever. So thank you again. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Narcisse. The second vote is to approve of modifications LUs 210 and 211 relating to the 438 Concord Avenue proposal in Deputy Speaker Ayala's district. The proposal seeks to develop a mixed-use residential building in the South Bronx. The proposed development will have approximately 87 apartments, of which 24 will be permanently affordable. The proposal consists of 2 actions. The first is a zoning map amendment to change an existing manufacturing M1-2 district to a mixed-use M1-4/R7D district. The second action is a zoning text amendment to map a mandatory inclusionary housing area. We are recommending to remove option 2 and add the deep affordability option. This will make 20 to 25% of the proposed apartments permanently affordable, similarly to the Colt Street project. Deputy Speaker Ayala supports this proposal based on the recommended modifications. I'll now hand it over to Council.
Do you want to ask if there's any questions?
Do we have any council members with any questions? I now call for a vote to approve of modifications LUs 208 and 209 relating to 2185 Cold Street rezoning proposal, and to approve of modifications LUs 210 and 211 relating to 438 Concord Avenue rezoning proposal. Council, can you please call the roll?
Chair Riley,
Aye.
Councilmember Moya,
I vote aye.
Councilmember Abreu,
Aye.
Councilmember Hanks,
I vote aye.
Councilmember Shulman,
I vote aye.
Councilmember Salam,
I vote aye.
Councilmember Carr,
Aye.
by a vote of 7 in the affirmative, 0 opposition, and no abstention, the items are approved with modification as described by the chair, and all items are referred to a full land use committee.
Thank you, Council. I will now open the public hearing on LU's 231 for the 49-39 Van Dam Street demapping proposal in Councilmember Wan's district. The proposal seeks to demap and have the city convey to an applicant an area next to an on-ramp for the I-495 West. For anyone wishing to testify on this item remotely, if you have not already done so, you must register online by visiting the council's website at council.nyc.gov/landuse. For anyone with us in person, please see one of the sergeants at arms to submit a speaker's card. If you prefer to submit written testimony, you can always do so by emailing it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. I would now like to give the floor to Councilmember Wan to give remarks on this project.
Thank you so much, Chair Riley. Good morning, everyone. This hearing focuses on an application to demap a DOT-owned property in Long Island City. The address is 4939 Van Dam Street, to allow the parcel to be transferred to private ownership. Queens Community Board, the chair is here, the executive board is here, and I believe other members are here to testify, has voted against this land use action, citing the following concerns. The first concern is the dwindling supply of city-owned land and green space, particularly in Long Island City and Sunnyside, which this area is in and has no remaining green space except for this specific parcel, which could be used for green infrastructure and stormwater management. Second concern that they have raised is uncertainty about the developer's long-term intentions for this site. The applicant says that they plan to develop an outdoor dining space on the parcel. The parcel is in an industrial area and is inside a curve of an expressway on-ramp. The community board's skepticism is understandable given the location of the parcel and lack of commercial restaurants in the area and foot traffic. The applicant has expressed that the DOT has done a poor job of maintaining this site and says that private ownership would resolve this problem. I share the community board's concern about the precedent that this would set. While the circumstances are in which that they may make sense for the public land to become private owned, I believe that the goal must be to public benefit, and it is not clear to me that this land use action would deliver the maximum public benefit. And we want to make sure that we're also working with DOT to resolve the problem that the private owner has pointed out about poor maintenance. Community Board 2 has called for the DOT to ensure adequate site maintenance and security, which it is under their jurisdiction, and I support them on this call. The purpose of this hearing is to allow the council to examine this proposed land use action and consider the potential impacts on the community as well as the potential impacts beyond the direct community, given that the selling of the land, public land, to a private developer to solve the issue of public property neglect could set a precedent for future transactions involving all of our public land across the city. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember Wan. I will now call the applicant panel for this proposal, which consists of Raymond Levin and Stephen Barry. Council, please administer the affirmation.
Please raise your right hand and state your name for the record.
Stephen Barry.
Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth in your testimony today in response to council member questions?
Yes.
Thank you. For the viewing public, if you need an accessible version of this presentation, please send an email request to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. And now the applicant team may begin. I just ask that you please reinstate your name and organization for the record. You may begin.
And can you please make sure your mic is on?
Is it on now?
Yes.
Yes.
Good morning. I think it's still morning. I'm Raymond Levin. I'm with the law firm of Herrick Feinstein. We're counsel to the applicant here. Steve Barry is the property owner who is seeking to purchase an adjacent vacant city-owned lot. Next slide, please. The lot is sandwiched between the on-ramp to the Queens Midtown Expressway. It curves around and is, as you can see in the slide, it is on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side is the property that Steve owns. It includes 2 warehouse buildings separated by an open area that's been used for parking. The property Steve's owned since 1988. Next slide, please. The city lot is covered with weeds and trees. It has been that way for some time. Next, please. The remains of illegal dumping you can see in this slide. This is between on the right is the embankment that holds up the curved ramp onto the highway, and the left is the wall of one of the warehouses. This area has also seen squatters and some illegal activity. Next, please. The site is virtually invisible from the street. This is Van Dam Street. You can see the 2 warehouse buildings that our client owns. And the trees in the background is the city parcel, which is not visible from the street. Next, please. This is Borden Avenue, which runs underneath the expressway. It continues to the right. To the left is the sort of alleyway to get to the city parcel between the blank wall of the warehouse and the blank wall that's holding up the ramp onto the highway. Next, please. This positioning of the property allows for use for activities that people don't want to be seen. You know, where they seek to avoid public view. There's no way to see it from either street. During 3 public hearings on this project, both the request to acquire the property and the outdoor dining plan, there were no speakers offering a testimony in opposition. While we respect the community board's desire to maintain the lot in city ownership, we believe the city will be better served by its transfer. As discussed in testimony at City Planning Commission, the city will benefit financially through the receipt of the purchase price and ongoing real estate taxes, plus payroll and sales taxes associated with the restaurant business to be established in the repurposed warehouse buildings. The city will benefit from sustainable drainage plan overseen by the owner of the adjacent buildings, which are the only properties threatened by flooding. The patio area will be covered with permeable material and regraded to facilitate the proper drainage. The reuse of the city lot includes over a third of its area will be landscaped with trees and plantings from the Parks Department's approved list. These will be primarily located along the semicircular ramp edge of the property. There has been skepticism expressed about Steve's restaurant plan and use of the lot. His family has 40 years in the restaurant business and has owned the adjoining buildings for over 35 years. They are not speculative developers. They are long-term owners and managers of multiple properties in the city. Next slide, please. Thank you for hearing us out, and we're here to answer any questions.
Thank you for your presentation. How do you plan to mitigate the safety risks and noise of the outdoor seating area from vehicles using the on-ramp?
Well, I guess there are 2 things. In terms of the noise and whatever, there are going to be plantings which are going to be along the edge of our property, of the property we're hoping to buy. So there are going to be trees and plantings along the edge which will mitigate some of the noise. I think some of the noise may have mitigated itself because of the congestion pricing. This ramp is an on-ramp into the city. So anyone who gets on it's got $9 to pay at the other end. So that's where, in terms of security of the lot, we'll put up a fence. I mean, right now the city has not done that, so we will do it, and we will ensure that that
Fence where?
At Borden Avenue and at the edge of our warehouse building that's the furthest north.
I can speak to the fencing, council member.
Okay.
Just to reiterate, I'm Stephen Barry. I'm owner of the properties adjacent to this lot. The fencing, in conjunction with access that DOT needs to maintain the fence, maintain the ramp, which is about 15 feet from the ramp itself. So there's going to be a semicircular area that they would need to access. The security perimeter would be from that 15-foot area. So that's where the fencing would begin. The tree line would begin either before or after that, depending on negotiation with the DOT and what they would like to do with the space.
Okay. How long have you owned this property?
40 years. In fact, I had my first communion there. My father had a pizzeria at the location, and I could have had it at any location that my dad had a pizzeria, and that was the location I chose.
And what are the businesses on the other side?
So there's on the opposite lot.
Opposite side of the lot, yeah, excuse me.
So our warehouses have always been, one is a commercial tenant that does warehousing. It's kind of like a Chinese Fresh Direct. And then the other tenant at 4965 is a commissary kitchen for Chinese restaurants at the moment.
Okay. Have you ever had any correspondence with DOT regarding the squatters or this garbage that you saw on this other lot, or tried to work with the community to resolve this issue?
The history of our engagement with any city services regarding that lot has been pre-311. So we were making calls to whatever city agency we would before that, but everything should be on the record with 311 in terms of any complaints that we've made. They range from, more importantly, just squatters on the area, homeless, and particularly in the colder weather, like this cold snap that we had last 2 weeks. There was someone there on the lot. And 2 weeks ago, there was someone who actually was driving up on the sidewalk trying to park their car in this lot area. And, you know, we had to call the police, the 109th precinct, if I'm not mistaken, and they didn't know what to do. So it's a weird area where multiple different agencies are convening because it's city, state, and obviously police in regards to that. But, you know, we've reached out through 311 in most cases.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Juan?
My main question was for the DOT on how helpful they have been, and it seems like you do have record of communicating with them to clean up, and also for DSNY to come clean up the trash or the littering, and
if I can just speak to the DOT's maintenance of the area, it's evident that it has not been taken care of. The overgrown trees, as you can refer to them, there are weeds. They've been growing there for 40 years, and they cover the ramp. So if you're driving on the ramp, and I invite anybody to take a trip, they're covering the entire ramp, so for visibility purposes.
do you have records of your
311 has
reports?
all of our records.
Okay, how many reports have you guys made now?
Over the years, I couldn't quantify. Over hundreds.
Okay, and they have not been responsive at all?
In terms of what we've responded to, I mean, I can't say because, again, I don't know. In particular, all of those instances are DOT related.
And what about for DSNY, for illegal dumping on the site?
In terms of that, it depends because the accessibility to the area. For example, there was a homeless person there who created an encampment. It went to DSNY, and then it moved to DOT, and then it moved to Homeless Services, back to DNY, and then someone, DSNY, and then someone eventually, I believe DOT, got 2 garbage trucks to haul away the encampment. And this was pre-COVID, so this is 2018. But again, because of the location of the area, the ramp itself not being really part of the city, and nobody wants to take ownership of it. So if there is an issue, there is no way to resolve it.
Well, it sounds like they were responsive because they removed the homeless encampments.
the homeless, resolving an issue after years of neglect, and that encampment built up over time. It wasn't that it suddenly appeared one day and then it was removed that same day. It was years, in some cases decades, of activity on the premises.
Have you contacted elected officials that overlap with that site, like the state senator, state assembly member, the Congress member, or the city council member for that site, to help you with the maintenance of the site?
It's not our business to maintain a site that's not ours to maintain. And more importantly, in regards to our being adjacent to the property, we've been flooded because the area is not permeable. As grassy as that may look in any of those pictures, the area has decades of garbage layered on top of the soil. And if you ask any officer that's had to go back there, the number one thing they tell us is be careful. There's a lot of drug paraphernalia and syringes there. So with that being said, I can't attest to its maintenance because it's not we're the adjacent property owner. If we're saying this as a neighbor to neighbor, it's not been maintained.
It's just confusing for me to follow that logic, because you're saying that you want to demap and become the owner of it, but as a neighbor to it, you don't want to be bothered by it. But it's clear to us as a local council member, we have multiple sites. For example, we have an MTA-owned site in Long Island City that we have had DHS go out to, DSNY go out to, and communities have volunteered to clean up the site from drug paraphernalia, as well as homeless encampments, where multiple nonprofits have come together to clean up that site. So now that it's on our map for us, for our awareness with the community board, I have no doubt that other people would, if notified, that they would get the agencies involved, and there would be oversight and accountability to make sure that the agency is doing its job to keep that clean.
And
The site is not visible from the street. So to the extent that there are things going on back there, whether it's clean or not clean, they're not going to be visible. Oh, sorry, it's not on? Oh, I'm sorry. Is it on now? Oh, my God, okay. So the fact that the site is not visible from the street, whether a police car drives by on Borden Avenue or Van Dam Street, they're not going to see what's going on back there. If it's clean, that's very nice, but that doesn't solve some of the other illegal problems that have occurred back there. But beyond all of that, the question and the reason that we're here is to make it usable, and so that our business can expand into that space, so that we can take control over it on a day-to-day basis, not every once in a while when someone calls. So we understand the concern, but this piece of property is bounded by warehouse buildings, by a ramp. Across the street is a mini storage. To the north is a Dunkin' Donuts. There's a Tesla dealership. This is not part of a residential area at all. It's part of an IBZ, an industrial area. So we're looking to acquire it not so much for the purpose of making it nice and neat, but for the purpose of our business.
Okay, so am I understanding correctly that the main motivation for acquiring or demapping this is for your market opportunity for your business growth?
correct. So, if I can just, Councilwoman, this area in Long Island City has a history of restaurant spaces and event spaces that are both identified by its commercial aspect and its commercial history, and this would be one of those locations. Crick and Cave is one example that used to be in the area and unfortunately closed during COVID, and another great spot in Long Island City that melded high-end and its industrial heritage was M. Wells, which just closed in December. And we would be taking a note out of those playbooks in order to develop an area for the space.
Okay, I just want to make it clear that the community board wants to work with the community and the agencies to maintain and keep the public space green and want to use it. what you have been saying is that you need to acquire it for because of the lack of maintenance, but it's clear that it's not for maintenance issues, but it's for your own business growth and your profit opportunities that you want to acquire the land.
If I can just speak to the concept. Van Dam Street and Borden Avenue is probably one of the most high frequent areas by cars. It's highly visible, and anybody who's coming into the city is passing by Borden Avenue and Van Dam. So naturally it has a lot of just self-marketing from that perspective. So any space there is going to bring in attention. So creating a space, an event space, a restaurant space there and utilizing that back lot area, which we refer to it as, for outdoor dining would not only facilitate that, but really bring something to the area that would be appealing to customers.
I don't have any other further questions.
Thank you, Councilmember Juan. Are there any more council members with questions for this panel? There being no more questions for this panel is excused.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council, are there any members of the public who wish to testify remotely or in person regarding the DMAP proposal?
Yes, Chair, we have 3 people in person who would like to testify and 1 person online.
For the members of the public here to testify, please note that witnesses will generally be called in panels of 3. If you are a member of the public, sign up to testify on the proposal. Please stand by when you hear your name and being called and prepare to speak when I say you can begin. Please also note that once all panelists in your group have completed their testimony, if remotely, you will be removed from the meeting as a group, and the next group of speakers will be introduced. Once removed, participants may continue to view the live stream broadcast of this hearing on the council's website. Members of the public will be given 2 minutes to speak. Please do not begin until the Sergeant at Arms has started the clock. The following individuals who signed up to testify should now come to the witness table. Rosamond, I'm so sorry I can't pronounce your last name. Rosman Janustus. Thank you, council member. Eric Narborough. And can you help me out with this one too?
Anatole Ashraf.
Anatole Ashraf. All right, thank you. Chair, we'll start with you.
Tests. We're
Yep.
good?
There
Okay.
you go.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks. Thank you, Council. Thanks for having us. My name is Anatole Ashraf. I'm the current chair of Queens Community Board 2, which oversees this location. First, I'd like to just reiterate Community Board 2's position. We voted to disapprove this application. We voted 26 in favor. Again, the main 3 reasons were the potential loss of public land in the area with limited green space, the importance of retaining city-owned property for future public use, including possible stormwater management infrastructure, and number 3, uncertainty about the plans of the applicant. But that said, the fact that we are here passionately to speak in favor of keeping this patch of land, to keep it what it is, if not develop it or at least maintain it ourselves, just goes to show that we need our taxpayer land, our public land, to remain green. We desperately need green space in our district. It's one of the fastest growing neighborhoods in the world is Long Island City, and we have very little green space in the area. Even if we can't build on top of, even if we can't maintain this or develop it into something people can go to more frequently, just letting it be stormwater soakage, just letting it be what it is more valuable than losing it especially for a private profit. It's NYC. Most importantly, it's LIC. There will be no shortage of interested parties to build and develop elsewhere in our district, and we're friendly to small business, but that said, it's much more critical for us to have this piece of land be what it is, if not a little greener. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric? Yeah, I was going to ask him that question after, but I'll ask you at the end. Gary, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Eric Narberg. I've been a resident of Council District 26 for 17 years. Worked there for 10 years, and I've been a member of the community board for 3. I speak in favor of retaining the land under city control. We're concerned about the lack of public green space in the district, which is vital for land and air quality. The image at the beginning of the slides illustrated it, but to add more detail, we are very short of green space in the district. 26% of it is mapped as green space compared to 40% citywide, and none of that is natural green space. At a time when the neighborhood is in the process of rezoning and redevelopment, and as we continue to face the undeniable implications of climate change, I urge city agencies to preserve and steward green space, not relinquish it. Work with nonprofits and volunteers in our community who are very interested in preserving green space in the district. On CB2, we regularly hear from our residents in Blissville who suffer from stormwater flooding and neglect in response to their concerns about safety. Data reflect that air quality is poor in the area due to heavy manufacturing and traffic emissions from the LIE and entrance to the Midtown Tunnel. Trees and greenery would mitigate that. And I volunteer with Community House to check in on older adults in the district, and I hear from them directly about how poor air conditions affect their mobility and quality of life. As we look to the future, we need to consider what is best for the safety and well-being of the community and the sustainability of our land. The city should retain this green space and properly maintain it for the long-term maximum benefit of the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Rosamond?
Testing. We're on. Good. My name is Rosamond Giannutsos. I am a over 50-year resident of District 26, and I'm here. I'm on the community board. I'm actually the first vice chair, but our chair has spoken well for the board. And I mean, honestly, I wish I went over to this site on Sunday. I rode over there with my bike, thank goodness, because there was no place that I could really have provision for parking. So I don't know what kind of restaurant business they anticipate having and having people get there. There's no public transit nearby and so on. And there are no trees anywhere other than on this particular lot. They say it's not visible from the street. I'm so sorry that the PowerPoint show that I developed to explain and what I saw is not that I can't show it to you. You can clearly see the trees. It appears quite clean, actually. Of course, in the winter there are no leaves. I did see one sheet of plastic. There's some person or somebody or something going on far in the distance, but it is very visible from that off ramp from the north side, it's so important for us. As I've been on the community board now for 5 years, we get land use and rezoning applications, and we're always saying, well, what can we do to bring more green there? These things are not weeds that are growing. I mean, you can't see them. They're quite developed. Now, they may not be officially planted trees, and yes, you could do a certain amount of cleanup and landscaping. I've heard also from some of the architects who are members of our board saying we desperately need to put some kind of fence. So please don't approve this.
Thank you so much for your testimony. I have some questions. So I just want to clarify, you said 26 to 6 approve this project or disapprove this project?
Disapproved. We voted. The motion was to disapprove. So yes meant no. So.
All right. Just wanted to clarify that for the record. My next question is, how long have you been the chair of this community board?
This is my second year.
The second year.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with?
Sorry, and I've been a member since 2019.
All right, perfect. So have you been a part of any correspondence with any city agencies to take care of this specific location?
I personally haven't, but my board members, the CB2 members, definitely have. Some of them, from what I recall, have corresponded with DOT, and it's been, it's not one of the top locations, but there are Blissville people and people from the Blissville neighborhood that's very close. The adjacent neighborhood to this are very well aware of this, and they've always voiced concern for not specifically this piece of land always, but the overall greenery of this area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Councilmember Juan?
I was just gonna say it. I don't personally have any constituent service requests for this site, but now that it has become an issue for our community, I have heard from community board members requesting that we put pressure on DOT and write a letter to make sure that DOT takes it seriously, because we have multiple sites that DOT owns in our district that they have been slow to keep up on their maintenance, but once we have written a formal letter from the city council, they have been able to clean it up. So now we will start the cleanup process.
Thank you, Councilmember Ron. And Ms. Rose Ross.
Dr. Roz is what they call me.
Dr. Ross. You have a written testimony, I believe, a PowerPoint. You're able to submit that to us.
I could submit that to you.
Yeah, for written. So we're able to view it as well. Okay.
Tell me how or something. You don't have to do it right now.
No.
but-
You could do it online, but we'll give you the information right after this, okay?
Perfect.
Also, if there's any other written testimony from other community board members, you're able to submit it as well.
Yeah, if I may, you should have already received 7 other written testimonies from what people have told me.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
There's probably more coming.
Are there any more council members? Questions? All right, this panel is excused.
Thank you.
Council, are there any more members of the public who wish to testify?
Yes, we have one person online. Is Fanny Chang available?
You may begin.
Fanny Chang, if you can hear me, please unmute and you may begin.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. Council, thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Fanny Chang. I have used the Van Dam exit for the last 35 years to travel to my office. JPP has applied to this change to use as a destination restaurant after 28 years. JPB bought this property on 10/1/1998. You could check this on Acris. Number one, City Council has been implementing legislation to create a greener New York City. This demapping action do not benefit the community or its resilience from climate change. It only benefits the applicant in acquiring 7,682 square feet to increase his property value. It is public land and it does not benefit the community. In the Community Board 2 meeting on October 10, 2024, Mr. Levin, the applicant's attorney, stated the state and city has discussed the sale of this application. This is not transparent or equitable. There should be a formal RPF issued by DOT. Number two, Stephen Barry stated the rainwater has been a big concern. It overflows Van Dam Street, and the VAMP JPB solution is to have the city sell the adjacent property to them and install permeable tiles. Applicant needs approval from the Park City Commissioner, Administrative Code 18-219. I am a care captain with the Parks Department. I will be glad to work with Mr. Barry to clean up this area. Thousands of cars and trucks go through this Van Dam Street thoroughfare every day. There is a major problem with flooding in this area after a rainstorm. The solution is not to sell the property. It is to plant vegetation and install proper drainage to absorb the drain water. Kindly vote against this mapping. It only benefits the applicant. It does not benefit the community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Chang. Are there any questions for this panel? There being no questions, this panel is excused. Council, are there any more members of the public who wish to testify on this demapping proposal?
No.
Okay. There being no other members of the public who wish to testify on LU 231 related to the 4939 Van Dam Street demapping proposal, the public hearing is now closed and the item is laid over. I will now open the public hearing on LUs 229 and 230 relating to the 122-03 14th Avenue rezoning proposal in Councilmember Palladino's district. The proposal seeks to develop a residential mixed-use building with approximately 94 apartments in the Whitestone neighborhood of Queens. The proposal also involves the mapping of mandatory inclusionary housing, and approximately 28 of the units would be affordable. For anyone wishing to testify on these items remotely, if you have not already done so, you must register online by visiting the council's website at council.nyc.gov/land use. For anyone with us in person, please see one of the sergeant at arms to submit a speaker's card. If you would prefer to submit written testimony, you can always do so by emailing it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. Once again, you can email it to us at landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. I will now call the applicant panel for this proposal, which consists of Frank St. Jack. Council, please administer the affirmation.
Please raise your right hand and state your name for the record.
Good morning, Frank Sejak.
Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth in your testimony today and in response to council member questions?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. For the viewing public, if you need an accessible version of this presentation, please send an email request to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. And now the applicant team may begin. I just ask that you please reinstate your name and organization for the record. You may begin.
Thank you, Chair Riley and members of the subcommittee. I am Frank St. Jacques. I'm with Ackerman LLP. We're land use counsel on the project, which is a collaboration between two local development firms, June's Construction and Apex Development. I'm joined by Andrew Esposito from Apex for questions. Next slide, please. The rezoning area is in College Point on the north side of 14th Avenue between College Point Boulevard and 123rd Street. It was zoned R4A, C13 in the 2005 College Point rezoning. The rezoning area is at the edge of a transition area between the residential context to the north and the industrial and commercial context to the south, including the special College Point district. The surrounding zoning reflects this. College Point Boulevard is the main north-south corridor connecting College Point to Flushing. 14th Avenue is the northernmost east-west corridor connecting College Point to Whitestone. Next slide, please. This land use map illustrates this transition area from mostly residential to several industrial uses, which are shown in blue, surrounding the rezoning area, then commercial and industrial uses moving south. Next slide, please. The proposed rezoning would establish an R6A C24, replacing the existing R4A C13, and also establish an MIH area with options 1 and 2. The current R4A zoning does not permit multifamily housing. The R5B running along 14th Avenue, immediately south of the rezoning area, is one of the few parts of College Point where multifamily development is currently allowed after the 2005 rezoning. Next slide, please. The proposed actions would facilitate the development of a new 6-story mixed-use building with approximately 75,000 square feet of floor area, approximately 70,000 of which would be residential floor area. This yields 94 units, including 28 permanently income-restricted units under MIH Option 2, and just over 6,000 square feet of local retail on the ground floor. Next slide, please. Here are some illustrative views of the proposed development from the west on the left and from the east on the right. Next slide, please. And this illustrative ground floor plan shows the commercial space in red, which would wrap College Point Boulevard and 14th Avenue, residential lobby and amenity space, as well as parking on a ground floor space, and there's an additional cellar floor that would provide more parking. Next slide, please. This illustrative mandatory inclusionary housing breakdown shows the 28 total MIH units at a range of incomes, 9 at 60% AMI, 10 at 80% AMI, and another 9 at 100% AMI. That concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions, as is Andrew Esposito from Apex.
Thank you. Can you break down the size of market units for us?
In terms of square footage? Or
No, just a breakdown of units available.
oh, the number of units?
Yeah.
Sorry, there's 94 total, 28 of which are MIH, and let me just do the quick math. I apologize, I don't have that right in front of me. It's about 60-ish are market. So it's 30% is the set aside for MIH Option 2.
Do you have the distributions from studios to 3 bedrooms for those units?
And I can provide this in writing. The breakdown is, bear with me one moment.
You can have a seat. We just have to swear you in real quick. Go ahead.
You please raise your right hand and state your name for the record.
Andrew Esposito.
You swear to tell the
Andrew,
truth.
turn the mic on for me. Thanks.
Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth in your testimony today in response to council member questions?
Yes, sir.
So the breakdown is actually shown on this slide. Apologies for taking a moment to find it. It's about 15% studios, 50% 1 bedrooms, 30% 2 bedrooms, and a 3 bedrooms, so 5% of 3 bedrooms.
Why is the 3 bedrooms so minimal? Like,
Typically, 1 and 2 bedrooms are the most common units. There's less market for 3-bedroom units. Many developments I've worked on don't include 3 bedrooms, so this was, in response to the established neighborhood character of surrounding College Point to provide some 3-bedroom units to account for larger families.
is this project shovel ready? If not, when do you anticipate construction to start?
I'll actually defer to Andrew. There is an existing commercial building on the site that is owned by the applicant. It would require demolition, we'd say about a year before for redevelopment.
Yeah, I mean, so the answer to your question is it's not shovel-ready because of that building. Commencement of construction, shovels in the ground probably a year, demolition short of that. Upon hopefully successful completion of this process, we'd start formal design of the building. Construction documents is like a 6 to 9 month process, and we would commence at that time. So,
And you plan to develop, not sell the site, right?
correct.
Okay. How do you intend to address the borough president's recommended goal for MWBE and local hiring?
It turns out one of the applicants, June's Construction, is a registered MWBE, registered with contractor. Thank you.
Yeah, so he's also the reason. I'd like to say more, and my lawyers might say you say too much, but he's my partner and an owner with us. He's also a contractor and an MWBE certified contractor. So we'd be building the building ourselves, and all the subs would be between his company and subcontractors under him. So the entirety of the project almost we expect to be MWBE, which is great.
That's good. Okay. I have no more questions. Councilmember Sloan, you have any questions? Okay. There being no questions, this panel is excused. Council, are there any members of the public who wish to testify on this project?
No, Chair, we have no one who signed up either in person or online to testify.
All right. There being no members of the public who wish to testify on LUs 229 and 230 relating to the 122-03 14th Avenue rezoning proposal, the public hearing is now closed and the items are laid over.
Thank you, Chair.
That concludes today's business. I would like to thank the members of the public, my colleagues, subcommittee council, land use, and other council staff, and the Sergeant at Arms participating in today's meeting. This meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you.